he is a supreme medical researcher. His father, Dr. Jim's wingman for multiple, when I say multiple ventures, and frankly, the best part that I can say about him, he's the ultimate enthusiast for life. So it is with great pleasure that I bring up the conversation, the real epitome of mentoring and mentees cross generationally that we've had with our HealthAPedia publication and our vision. Welcome, Ulysses, to the stage. And real men are aware.
Thank you for the introduction. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Glad
yeah,
to be
yeah.
here with you and so many real aware men.
Real aware men, and it's kind of that Darth Vader approach in the back. It's there we go. Yeah, yeah. But I thought maybe it was that Darth Vader look that you were after today. So I the enthusiast for life. By the way, how do you like the track?
I did like the track. I was bopping to it. And anytime DJ's involved, I have a feeling I'm going to be bopping to it.
It's something good. So take us back to California. Take us back to the farm. Let's hear a little bit of the story about, as I call it, you, the you man now, Ulysses, being the son, and happy Father's Day to your dad Jim, but you being you being the son of Jim. Just take us a little bit in that story.
Well, I would say he's the inspiration that sparked me on a hero's journey. You were talking about the Darth Vader look, totally unintended. I'll have to get a nice ring light or something to keep up with everybody. But no, I very much, as a young person, I wanted to be the Luke Skywalker. I wanted to have a little bit of that Yoda in my back pocket. I really wanted to learn how life works, understand it deeply, so that I could enjoy it to the greatest effect, because I have always found this to be just a wonderful blessing and gift. Life is beautiful.
Yeah.
So I would say
It's like
that,
another movie we've seen together, right? Life is Beautiful.
it's a good one. It's classic, right?
Right.
It's been quite an adventure, been quite an experience. It's been a lifelong education. It's one that I am still engaged in on a daily basis, and my personal education, I don't want to ever end. I think that it even continues through our transition out of this life, right? Ideally.
Yes.
But my education in practical spaces and in let's call them healing sciences, it's still a daily endeavor. I'm still studying under the tutelage of my father and as many other brilliant minds as I can find to bump elbows with, and hopefully a little bit of the magic dust will shake off onto me, because it's the circles that we're in, as you know, are really amazing. The people who are involved here bring a lot of magic, a lot of inspiration, and a lot of masculinity and leadership into what we're doing. So I'm very much every day looking to learn from them and share that with the world as I can.
Well, and as Arthur just said before, that he said, I never want to quit learning. And guess what? And he's younger than Harrison. And guess what Harrison said? I never want to quit learning. If we become commensurate students, and having the father of a teacher, I mean, I just tell us just one good story before we get into you and why you said yes to being in the book. I mean, tell us one good story about being little Ulysses. You had to grow up into that name, for crying out loud.
Um, I did, and I suppose I still am in many ways. It was, well, if you're talking about the name, it's inspiring for sure. I feel like one thing that I understood from my father was the profound nature of our connection to those who came before us. And
Mm,
as a man, I think about this frequently. It's one of the primary ways that I understand myself and am aware of myself as a man, is in a conduit to connect the past, bring it into the present, and carry it forward into the future. You know, the way that men, and not just men, of course, but the way men lead
Yes.
is a very real example, you know, a physical example in many ways of that. But I was inspired very deeply, even as a young person, to understand that um, it wasn't just a very fantastic and dynamic pair of people who birthed me into this world. They were the two closest people to me, right? But they were also an evolution of other people,
Yes.
their triumphs and tribulations, and ultimately every one of us in this world is connected by that alone, right? We all have evolved here together. And regardless of what your beliefs are, that doesn't mean that we're limited, doesn't mean that all of our evolution happened here or will happen on here, but certainly we're connected um, in the web of life. We're connected in the thread that runs through all those who endeavored to bring creation to the point that it's at. And we, I think, as Antoine would say, we have earned the right to come and evolve here in this place. And it's a magnificent and beautiful gift. And I think that as a young person, it didn't have to be explained to me in
Nice.
those terms. Even in the simplest terms, I understood that the web of life it's powerful, and it endows us with the gifts that we have, and that the ability to co-create and share those gifts with the world, you know, the ability to appreciate what exists here,
Yes.
appreciate what we create here. Thinking about Arthur and his brilliance, you know, the things that he develops and creates are magnificent, they're beautiful, and I keep using this word inspiring. They're inspiring to me personally. And
Yes.
I think it's in that same vein and spirit that I began to understand the world around me. Very early on, was captivated by other living things. You know, my people who were around at the time could tell you my favorite thing was probably an encyclopedia of other living things. I wanted to not
Oh,
just know them all, I wanted to behold them in their majesty, in their beauty, in their uniqueness. You know, I loved the difference of the colors, the textures, the environments, and the skills and qualities of all these things. I was very enamored with them. And I've spent a large portion of my life studying them, interacting with them, and just trying to deeply appreciate them and enjoy them for the magnificent creation that they are.
you absolutely you are a researcher from the very beginning.
You could say that. Yep. Yep. And it's just fun. It's just play for me. I enjoy it very much.
I mean, I have one that we were doing something in your office. I just remember this, and you were behind your big desk. You're a big guy. I'm not. I'm not a guy, and I'm not big. Okay, so I have a big voice, but I'm not big. So you're big behind the big computer, and I asked you and said, "Oh, let's see what I can do about this." And you went, "Doot, doot, doot." It's something I don't even remember what it was. This was right after I moved down here, and I had been looking forever for the answer, and you went, "Bing." You know, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that movie, that the ending of our song, do 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 do, and you made it happen. But that is a true gift. That is a true gift. And I think about when we were at in oh gosh, now that was 8 years ago. Now that's scary. But I remember, and I don't mean to embarrass you, but I remember I was getting interviewed on a backdrop at an event, and they wanted to get my take, and I'm going, oh, I need a handsome backdrop. I just hooked you right on, and you looked at me like, do I have to say anything? Do you remember what I said to you?
And I think you relieved my concerns very quickly. I think you told me all I had to do was stand there and smile or something like that.
And look good.
Yeah.
I said, that's easy. And so I mean you've achieved that today as with our impromptu things. So what I know that you're still kind of evolving, deciding which of the pillars in health, and you do have some time through the weekend, and then the editor and me, okay, we got to decide. But what is your message that you want to convey to real men everywhere? I know it's inside of you. It's been really percolating because you're way more than just looking good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And to your comments a little earlier, I got to tell you, your spiritual stature is amazing. It is as tall as the skyscrapers, taller than the pyramids. So don't ever tell yourself that you're not big.
Okay, thank you.
I think that there is a strength in men that we provide to the world around us, that if you are connected to your creator, your creation, there's an ever-present strength. Although the challenges of life seem also ever-present reality, right? And there's a vacillation of energy back and forth between those polarities, and it ensures us a long and adventurous and beautiful life if we accept it and we step into it. And in doing that, there is an opportunity for us to never stop breaking new ground, to never stop chasing the horizon, and to lead those who would trust us, ideally those who know us, love us, and trust us to do that. We can be leaders in those spaces. We also have opportunities to hold space for others, right? To do what they need to do and have all types of experiences. But we very much, in our strength as men, we have a unique and blessed opportunity to do that. And maybe you can tell, maybe you cannot, I'm very much leaning towards the spiritual pillar because through my eyes and through my heart, I think everything comes underneath that umbrella. That light shines on all of us, even in the darkest places that a human being may find themselves.
Well, and frankly, since I told you can pick any pillar, since you're the son of the co-founder of HealthAPedia, I think you kind of have an inside scoop. So what do you think about this, Ulysses? I just laid this one here as you were talking.
Ever expanding life. I like that one. I like it. Well, I'm sure you'll help me polish it up. Let's put it that way.
Yes, but that was
I like that. To me, that's kind of the crux of leadership. I mean, what is leadership? Where are you leading? You are venturing ahead. Sometimes a certain portion of what's ahead of us is known. Most of the time it's into the unknown, right? And that's what makes it so magnificent. We have an infinite amount of opportunity, and it really is up to us to go into that infiniteness and bring something good back and share it with those we love. And I have always felt a deep calling to do that, at the familial, tribal level, if you want to call it that. And these days, very much in an expanded realm where I want to create, I want to build things, I want to discover things that are truly valuable and good, and I want to share them with the world.
Well, there you go. And by the way, because you're a millennial type of guy, all right, I told Tony that you can just talk into Chat GPT. You're going to get this recording. It's going to be the basis of your book. I promise you. It's easy and expanding life, because this is what I've seen just the time that I've been down here. My choice to relocate from the big house up in north of Orlando down here was to be around this tribal, familial, expanding society that we're creating for holistic health. your dad, when I said did you like that part when I said you're a wingman for his multiple ventures?
Oh
I've
yeah,
seen,
yeah.
yeah, he made,
I wear that badge with honor. Happy to be a wingman.
yes. I mean, we may see him out there as Top Gun, but Top Gun was nowhere unless he had his wingman. And so there you have it. And I think that going back to this spiritual pillar, because when you're led by the Spirit, your life will be in flow. And that's what I see with you, especially since I've been down and had more time to experience you like one-on-one. I saw a little bit here, a little bit there, down once a month, twice a month, whatever.
Sure.
But you flow. You flow. How do you flow as a man? How do you flow as a man? That's a pretty good question. We don't have 20
That's a
minutes.
very good question. I think part of what makes that a great question is that there is not a simple answer. And part of the unique challenge of flowing, being in the flow, if you will, that flow state, as a lot of people have coined it, you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to exert yourself, but you also have to be able to let go. And it's in finding that the connected stream through all those things that is really what is being in the flow. And so I would say that flowing very much represents what I was discussing, the adventure in leadership as a man is that you're stepping into a world that is of an infinite nature, infinite possibility, right?
Infinite.
And yet still you can step into that and bring something new. How wild is that? How powerful is that? That in an infinite universe, you can still add something. Do you know what I mean? That to me, that is a really powerful and dynamic reality that we're living. And I think that flow is a big part of that because your sense about timing, how and when to do that is critical to your ability to do that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think as a man, being in flow is very important. And could I tell you all the things that one has to do to flow? I can't right now, but I'll let you know when I get there.
Yes. Yes. And there're going to be
That's the
some
only way to do it.
And there's going to be some action steps behind your chapter to doing this. And I just got to add this. And I don't know how that we're running a little late, but that's really fun because we were running early in time that we just flow. But Ulysses, because I love that picture of you on WhatsApp. I know you're out in my home state of Montana with that garb and whatever, got that headgear on and everything else. And it was and there's a song by Stephen Curtis Chapman. Was one of my theme songs in the 90s. And it says, saddle up your horses. We've got a trail to blaze. And, right. and through the wild horizons of our creator's amazing grace. And you, and then the next lyric says, let's follow our leader into the great unknown. This is a life like none other. This is the great adventure. You have the ultimate gift of following your leader, who is your father, into that great unknown and being that spiritual pinnacle to ensure that the flow is there. That's what I see in you. That just came to me. I hope that resonates with you because it did with me. I just wanted to tell you that.
It does very much. It's no coincidence that is still for me crystal clear in how I see the profound opportunity of a man to benefit the world, to better the world, to create something of value. And, that's, as I said, you are building on mountains of not just challenge, but achievement of, as I said, people's triumph and tribulations. And it all comes to right here, right now, in this moment. And yes, it all led me here to be enjoying this summit with you, Dee Baer. It's, you know what I mean? It makes me, in certain ways, feel very much, I don't know if the right analogy is like the tip of a spear, but it's like being, people use the term cutting edge a lot of time to talk about advancement, to talk about moving forward, to talk really about improving the nature of our existence and our experience, right? To share something good with the world around us. And that's
Yes.
exactly what it means to me. And that, you know, that's what I learned from watching a mother and father do that together in this world by having children, raising a family, you know, to watch a man as a father and a husband be a leader in that way. And I very much feel deep inside of myself that that is one of, if not the most profound way that a man leaves his mark on the world. But it's not just a mark. You are playing a part in the grandest orchestra that ever existed,
Oof.
and you get to choose what that is. That's amazing. You know, thank God that we get a choice, because
Yes.
it is oftentimes, it seems compelling to think that the part that you're playing in any given moment is not the one that you want to play. You know, you're stuck in traffic. You know,
Uh,
your flight got canceled. There's all far too many things that we could all relate to in that way, right? And reminding ourselves, or should we be so blessed, a loved one or an inspirational person like the people that we get the benefit of being around should remind us that we get a say so. We have a choice. You can sing a different tune if you want, right? And I remember when we were in Aruba together, which was
yes.
fantastic, another big blessing that I've enjoyed in my life. There was a quote. There was a really powerful quote that was inscribed at the base of a statue in a square outside. Beautiful place for next to the ocean. We're doing our morning walk every day out there. And I remember this quote caught my attention. I was watching it, looking at it every time we walked past it. And I know that it also caught your attention. I think it's something that we share very much, is a love and appreciation for the reality that was memorialized there in that quote. Do you remember what it was?
Was it the Anne Frank one?
It was the Anne Frank quote.
I don't remember what it said. Do you remember what it was? Help me out.
Verbatim,
I've got
not
the stick.
necessarily my
Well,
specialty, but she said that it was what a beautiful reality it was, that a person need not wait a single moment to change the world or make the world a better place.
ooh, yes. And
And
here we are doing it right here and right now. Congratulations.
yeah, I got it for you. If you want it word for word,
Yes.
the quote
The
was
researcher.
how,
Oh, oh, the researcher. See? Oh,
hey, I'm coming through, right? She said, how wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. And I don't know, that says it all for me. I don't know that I could add or need to add anything to that. I just want to live that every day.
and guess what? You are living it right here, right now, being in this moment. Get you got the basis for this chapter, because guess what? As I say, I do have this nickname for people that I really care about. I said, I remember the first time I called you, because you, man, you are the real man. Much love. Thank you so much for gracing our stage.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love you all. I'm in great company.
Ciao for now.